The next lady I'd like to introduce is Kendra. Um, she works with up at the rehab, and she goes out to do home visits and everything, and checks to see the accessibilities of homes and see if there's any adaptations that can be made or how they can um, do it. Hi, Kendra.
Hi, Halona. Well, actually, Halona and I go back a couple years. I knew
Yes.
Halona way back a couple years ago when we decided to do a slide video on home accessibility. And when I went to his house, I said, hey, my girlfriend used to live here. Let me check the house out. And, you know, from then on, I think we had this really nice friendship. Every time I needed something or had something to show Halona, I said, well, you know, let's check this out. What do you think, Halona? And I think from this video that we're going to be showing next, it shows a lot that Halona has done. And just as you're looking at the video, I want you to really look at home accessibility, what you have in the house, things that you and I take for granted that Halona hasn't really taken for granted. He looks at it and he's very creative. So we're going to show a video clip of Halona from the morning and doing his things in the home, looking at his personal hygiene care, and going into the community, going to the bank, and coming back. And as you're looking at this video, really sit down and start problem solving, because a lot of things that are just common sense for us is not really common sense to a lot of other people. Take a look at things that he does, like with a dog leash, and just looking at his bed, how he has adapted his bed. Brian, could you roll that film?
There I am. That's the hallway. As you notice how narrow the doorways are, and I'm going into my bedroom, at least trying to. Before I was able to rent a house, I made sure that I could get in and out, and that desk was built specifically for me, and it's come in handy a whole lot as far as me being able to do my studies and just about anything else regarding any type of letter writing or studies or just reading.
As you can see, Halona is putting on this thing called a cock-up splint. Because he doesn't have quite the wrist extension that we all have, he uses this cock-up splint to add like a pencil right in the dorsum of his hand, not dorsum, but in the palmar area of his hand, so he can go ahead and use like a stick to go ahead and depress the computer keys. Things that you and I can do with our fingers, Halona has a hard time doing that. So with this cock-up splint, and he can go ahead and put like a stick in there or a dowel with a rubber tip at the end.
Yep, that's exactly what it is, a dowel.
Help him depress the computer keys.
And that's just me typing and, you know, just doing a couple of functions with the computer. And that telephone, I was able to get an adaptation that was through rehab. They have that in catalogs. There I am trying to open up the blinds. As you notice, the strings, this trying to make do with whatever. I found those blinds were the better ones to handle than the other ones. There I hooked up 2 strings to the fan and stuff, and that's the railing of my bed, so that when I'm in bed I can turn on and off the fan. And that was just a simple adaptation that I rigged up.
Let me interject something. Something like this, adaptive technology does not have to be expensive. It can be anything you have in your home. And with the use of creativity and just, it's like the stars the limit. Whatever you can think of, try and do, because something will work for you.
Right now, as you noticed, my bed is not a normal bed. When I was up at the rehab, my therapist and I devised this special made bed so that I could be able to get myself in bed, transfer and everything pretty independently, and that was one of my main goals. And we found that the forward transfer was the best way. The rehab people were able to make the bed for me, and we got it's just a regular exercise mat, and it sometimes gets kind of hard when I'm sleeping on it, but after a while I got used to it.
To toughen you up a little.
And I'm able to get get in bed pretty much, although I do at times need an aide to just stand by so that I don't lose my balance and I don't fall off of my chair onto the floor, and because that would be a problem.
A challenge, I believe.
Yes, a challenge, exactly.
Halona's bed is wider than most beds are because he needs to do some rolling. You can't get a regular twin bed and expect that person to transfer independently. You do need to have something that's a little wider so he can roll, and they have something called bed sores that they have to be aware of. So rolling would also need to be taken into consideration, especially have an adaptive bed.
Those cuffs that I just put on, they have this thing called Dyson. It's like a non-stick type of, non-slippery type of material.
It kind of looks like those jelly rolls. You know how you buy those fruit roll-ups?
Yeah.
Sort of like that. That's the kind of texture it has.
And it just helps me so I don't slip as I'm transferring, because the sheet becomes slippery after a while. So that just keeps my hands pretty sturdy. And that was just me backing up and getting back into my chair. Again, I still at times have an aide standing by to just make sure that everything goes smooth. There's the leash that Kendra was talking about. I needed to find a way to close my door because I kept on hitting my foot pedal. So I came up with my dog leash, and as you can see, it works just fine.
So it's creativity on your part.
Just heading on out.
Large handles also help the handicapped, especially if they have limited hand function, open and close doors. So if you go out to buildings, you will see a lot of handicapped, or in fact right now they're putting in a lot of these special doorknobs in all these buildings, or they're called levers. They kind of look like a dowel, sort of.
I don't know if you noticed that yellow coloring square. That was, I think, put there for
visually impaired.
Yeah.
That is a change in the surface.
And these are one of the things that I really encounter, and I think a lot of other people in wheelchairs is they're trying to get into doorways and stuff. As you can see, that handle is open, and I could fit my hand inside. Other doorways or other businesses, they don't have all of those open type of doorknob. So I just sit and wait until somebody either is coming out or going in, and a lot of people are polite and very helpful. I try to do most of my transaction and everything that I plan to do at home because it just makes it a little easier for me. And because I'm taller and sitting up higher, a lot of the counters are not accessible for me, although they do meet the standard requirements. And that's just one of the sliding things that the bank has installed. For me, it's just easier to just get close to the counter.
Also, it's important to know, especially when you have wheelchairs, that you would have to have at least 5 square feet of turning radius, especially for wheelchairs, because sometimes places are too narrow. You need to, you either have to go back and forward to get where you need to go. Especially this is important in any building, or if you have a hallway in your home. You need to take into consideration the wheelchair accessibility.
There I go. I'm going to go buy myself a house right now. Just got my millions. Going out in this area is pretty easy. It wasn't that hard. Again, I encountered some problems with doorways. This way I've just tried my best. As you notice, I have a chest strap on. That's helped a whole lot to keep my balance because I have no trunk balance. And if I don't have the chest strap, I don't think I would have that much mobility with both hands and be able to function and do the things that I am able to do. As you notice, that key, there was a wood that I did.
Okay, looking into this corner in the kitchen, did you see that cutaway corner? Sometimes that'll help with wheelchair when you turn around the corner. Otherwise, a lot of times you will take the corners with you, especially in a wheelchair.
At that time, that sink in the kitchen, The only place that I really can make use of is the ice box. The counter for the sink and stuff was just, it wasn't accessible, and it the landlord, it was just a little too costly to renovate it. There's a lot of other type of faucets that people can use that have those handle devices that are a lot easier. And then after a nice hard day, I need something cold to drink, and so far, as long as my teeth hold out, I'll be able to open my own juice.